can I just point out, every single time I've had to talk and or think about the game, I've forgotten its name.
SpongeBob Rift Apart?
Intros.
Hi.
Bonjour. Welcome everybody, my name is Chester and welcome to CB Extra. I am here, not on my own for once.
Hi, I'm
It's
here.
incredible. I've been so alone for so long.
What about BJ?
Well, I mean, I've got fake BJ here. I've got the fan BJ, but real BJ, he's busy dancing all the time. He's never here. I'm of course joined by Who Needs Normal. Welcome. Thank you for joining me.
You know what? I need normal.
Welcome guys to my completely normal YouTube channel where we discuss normal things. Anyway, so how's the weather? Anyway, so something happened, something rather big. I'm not sure if you heard about it.
SpongeBob the Cosmic Shake?
The Cosmic Shuffle? I don't know, man. But anyway, so we're here to talk about some things that we would like changed or evolved from Rehydrated over to Cosmic Shuffle. Because I think Cosmic Shuffle. You know, we can chat about it a little bit, but I am one of 5 people who didn't really like Rehydrate that much.
I'm one of the other 5, actually.
Okay, one of the other 5? Okay, so we got a nice diversity of opinion here.
I mean, I liked it probably better than you did on some level, but I was pretty disappointed in it.
So I think this is a good chance to kind of chat about this stuff because now we actually have a basis of opinion because Purple Lamp had never done a type of game to this degree before, so now we can we have a jumping board of opinion, whereas last time we were doing all the speculation based on nothing. I thought it was going to be a good time to kind of chat about some of the stuff we'd like to see changed or evolved or improved or fixed or in the sequel. Sequel? Spiritual successor? Number 1. Welcome to my top 10 list, guys. Alright, so this kind of continues on with what I said before about the grass textures. Number 1, I would really like a more consistent art style. I feel like the jump from before with like the shaders and everything being yellow and SpongeBob having pants textures and all that type of stuff, it worked for the idea of, oh, it's SpongeBob for the PlayStation 4. Wow. But
It's so realistic.
It's so realistic. Look at the textures. But it's the thing of just like, but the show doesn't have those textures. And obviously, you know, you don't want to go with like exactly what the show looks like. Like my favorite SpongeBob game and like one of my top 10 favorite games of all time was Employee of the Month, which looks very similar to the show, but yeah, again, still doing the 3D and all that type of stuff. But I feel like it went so far as to lean away from the actual show itself. Whereas, even though I'm not a big fan of it, the third movie did retain more of that SpongeBob-y visual style, just with like the way Bikini Bottom is lit and just like lighting styles and all that type of stuff. I feel like I would like more consistency with that. Like I've never seen in the show Jellyfish Fields being bright orange in its lighting. Like it's that type of thing.
I mean, I don't feel like I'm one to say, hey, this game... I understand what you're saying, and I agree. But also, one of my favorite SpongeBob games is Revenge of the Flying Dutchman, which looks like dirt. So, my standards aren't very high.
Yeah, no, but I mean, like, there's absolutely... And you can even take it in the way, like, I would also be happy if it didn't look like the show and went a completely different style, like Flying Dutchman, but was consistent with that style.
I would be happy if it looked like that trailer, but I don't think it's going to look like that trailer, especially because it's not coming out on next-gen platforms, apparently. Number 2, it's kind of broad because it covers a lot of territory, but polish. I want the game to have a lot more polish than Rehydrated did, because that was one of my biggest issues with Rehydrated. And by that I mean, like, some of the animations were really janky. Like the sound effects wouldn't always play, or they would play too often, like the voice line. You know, you go into a place and the character is supposed to say something. Like, you go into his library and he says, "This is where I keep all my old comic books." In Rehydrated, I was playing last night just to kind of think of things I wanted to say. And I went in there, and at first he didn't say anything. And I was like, oh, he always says it when you go through the door. Didn't. And then he started saying it 3 times in a row. And I was like, this is a game. And then...
This is a game some people are happy with. Some people are very pleased with this.
And by animations and sound, another animations and sound effecting, sorry. Also in the library, this is just a little thing that's always bothered me. When you press the button and those blocks with the shiny objects fall down, in the original, they all fall down one at a time really quickly and make a weird stacking noise. In Rehydrated, you press the button and then it just kind of all drops as a big block and doesn't really make any sound. And there are just a lot of things in Rehydrated where things will happen, but it all feels very static because the sound effects that used to play don't play anymore.
Yeah.
It all feels very generic in that way.
It's kind of that last 10% of work of just when those blocks fall, have them, falling with sounds playing, but also just like it's kind of that personality. That the personality is in that last 10%.
This has always bothered me about Rehydrated ever since I started playing it. Some collectibles, like some of the game sequencing is like totally broken, which like I guess if you're a speedrunner, oh cool, but it's easy to break the game, for one.
Yeah.
But for two, there's this one specific spot that has always bothered me in downtown Bikini Bottom. Right when you spawn in, Mrs. Puff tells you about the boat wheels, and then there's immediately those 2 right in that area. There's the one down there, and then there's the one up on the awning that you're supposed to go around the building and climb up on the tikis to get to it. In Rehydrated, if you just kind of jump towards the awning, the boat wheel will automatically fly towards you like a shiny object, and you can just grab it without actually doing anything.
I thought that was just the way we had to do it.
No.
I didn't realize we had to go up on a building.
That's supposed to happen. No, you're supposed to go around to the left of the building and then go up. And that has always irked me.
Number 3. I would personally like, I know people are probably going to cringe at this, a more involved story. And this plays into my 4th point as well, which we'll get into in a second. But SpongeBob can tell quite good stories. Like the movies usually tell quite good stories with good character stuff and all that. And I feel like the games can do that as well. And like once again, you look at Employee of the Month. Like that's a good story for SpongeBob.
Never played it, but
you.
Listen, I tried to get it working on this computer, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't work. You need to buy a Windows 7 laptop. I think you could do some really cool stuff, especially with the whole cosmic stuff. My concern is because the cosmic stuff is going to break up the status quo of SpongeBob. Like, the talent's probably going to get mixed up, and characters are going to be missing, and characters are going to be so different and all that type of stuff that you could tell a really bad story with that. Like, no, because none of the characters are themselves, realistically. It could feel really just like SpongeBob and Patrick running around telling jokes. And their friends are just around. But you could tell quite a good story with that. I reckon that could be a good thing that could actually really set Purple Lamp apart as a developer from Heavy Iron and from the past developers of SpongeBob. And this is something else that I think is actually quite interesting. I remember I think nearly all of us who've talked about Creature the Krusty Krab have talked about this at one point. How it is such a special game because nothing like that could be made again. I think we've all said something along those lines, because those was in the days of Activision, where we were just seeing the most stock standard, stereotypical, bland SpongeBob games. I think this could be a Creature of the Krusty Krab type of game. I reckon it could be really weird, really out there, and really creative in that way.
Speaking of which, I think I did get some of those vibes, but also, if you've seen my Creature from the Krusty Krab video, you'll know a little bit about what the game was originally pitched as. And I just noticed from what little we know, there's kind of some elements from those ideas seemingly in this game. Like the idea of having Patrick as a companion, even though he's a balloon. That game wanted to initially have companions in every level, and you'd have to work together to do things. Just the concept of it's almost like the concept of the dream worlds itself, in a way, except they're not dream worlds, they're quote-unquote wish worlds or whatever they call them.
Yeah.
Which I think is a neat idea, especially because when we were getting ready and saying, oh, this could be a Battle for Bikini Bottom sequel, I was trying to think, I was like, how would they even do that, though? Because it's like, the original and Rehydrated used all the basic areas you would think of for a SpongeBob game, like Downtown Bikini Bottom and Jellyfish Fields and Goo Lagoon. I was like, are they just gonna do all those again, but different? And then when I found out they were doing places like that, but giving them a twist on them, like I believe it's Wild West Jellyfish Fields. Sounds like a really neat idea to me. Or like Halloween Rock Bottom. I'm very excited for that one. Hold on, time out. Hey, if any of you want to try to get their PR manager shared this link with me. That was what Ryder said. So if you want to click on that link.
Is this gonna be some like virus?
Ryder.
Right, that's what you doing, Jimmy Man. Number 4.
Number 4. Like what I wrote down basically is that the moveset could be improved. Like, especially from Rehydrated specifically. Like, I don't think they translated the moveset perfectly.
Yeah.
So I think some of the older moves could use some tweaking. But also, and they already said they're going to do this, but I think we need some variety in there. We need some new stuff. We need new moves, not just cruise bubbles and bowling balls. We need something else.
Yeah. I reckon you could also lean into stuff like what the movie game had, which was that like level up abilities type of thing.
That would be cool.
Even though I feel like some of the highest level upgrades in that were actually downgrades. But you know, next one for me, which leans more into that whole, the reason why I want them to do a more robust story is side quests. I really want side quests.
That is an interesting idea. Like, I could see that working. Like, especially if the individual, I think 7 worlds are more open, kind of like Mario Odyssey. If they're more open like that, I could definitely see side quests working. I'm trying to like imagine how a side quest would work in Battle for Bikini Bottom.
Well, let me give you an idea. So it would have to come with the concept that enemies don't just constantly respawn, and the goal is to you have like the main quest of the world, which is to save your friend and like beat a boss and that type of stuff. That's kind of the main idea. But then there is a second goal, which is to free that world from the glob monsters. And what you do are the different quests, which you have to go to these different areas and like switch on a radio tower or something like that, and the radio waves like make the globs move away, type of thing. And so that's a side quest. So you're given that by Squidward in his world, where he's the movie director. So you've got to go to these different locations and switch on these towers, which free up different areas. And that lets the normal like civilians of Bikini Bottom return to those areas. And so it's about freeing.
Was that in the trailer? I wasn't paying close enough attention.
No, this is just a concept.
A world where, okay, because I was like, there was that part where Squidward was like in the middle of a fight between SpongeBob and Sandy.
But he's sitting on a big chair with like the hat and all that type of stuff. And I believe we've seen multiple times microphones and cinema lights. So I reckon he's like a film director in his world, and Sandy's like his main character, his action hero character. That's why she's in her Kill Bill costume and all that. So he's making like a kung fu movie.
I didn't put that together, I guess.
But that's just an idea. So he gives you that quest to go and free these different areas. So you're doing that, and then you actually like capture back this town, this level that's a side quest to do type of thing.
Number 15. Your father will die. I want a better sense of scale. And by that I mean like.
Number 15. I want a better sense of scale.
In Rehydrated specifically, like some of the worlds, some of the levels, sections, specifically in the major boss fights, they felt smaller than they used to. And I don't know if it's because of the camera angles, because, you know, the camera angle was a little bit higher up. In the original, it was ground, so it made everything feel a little bit bigger. And then in Rehydrated, everything kind of felt squished together.
Yeah.
Which I want more open areas, which kind of goes into the whole you want an open world. Not necessarily in this game, but
unless it's open world, it's not a real
bigger
video game. It's difficult because I haven't played like GTA or any of those games. So I'm just like, if I don't have a car, then
I don't have a car. If I can't ride a horse and hunt animals with a bow and arrow like in Red Dead Redemption,
a bow and arrow and or a shotgun, then it's not a real game. I think that comes up under, I really like that idea as well. I think that also comes under my next point is number 8, I think.
I thought it was 5.
Next one, another collectible. So either better than a spatula or just lower. And this will only work.
I was maybe gonna put that on my list as like number 6.
Yeah.
Like if we needed another one, but I would just like some more varied collectibles, maybe even.
Yeah.
Like I don't like maybe different ones in different worlds, or maybe multiple different collectibles in each world.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the thing is then you also need the large worlds to make that plausible. But I think that's the thing is I'm always happy to do like the spatula stuff, but the spatula stuff kind of narrows your vision in such a way, especially when you have like the list of ones you have to collect, and usually the level pushes you in those directions. But if there are other ones, either better or to a different degree, and they have to do something. They have to be important. They can't just be a collectible, otherwise I'm not going to care. But they have to be something that maybe unlocks art or unlocks music or is
like the treasure chests in the movie game.
Yeah, but a bit more like there's more of them type of thing, and they are harder to find. They're actually like acts of skill to get them.
Like socks, but you don't just get spatulas for more socks.
Yeah, because that makes the socks feel like a stepping stone to just get a spatula. They don't feel important on their own. They feel like, I'm a bit closer to getting one of these other spatulas, which I can literally get for bowling. Like, I don't feel it.
And see, I didn't write any notes down for these last two. I was just coming up with 2. This kind of goes into, like we were talking about, whatever these sludge monsters are. I want, like, more interesting enemies and bosses. I'm worried that they're gonna feel generic. It's just like, this fight the big sludge monster with 2 eyes, or this smaller one with 3 eyes. Like, just I feel like a lot of games that, like a lot of licensed games, have that problem where the enemies aren't interesting. That's one of the things I like about Battle for Bikini Bottom is a lot of them are all like the designs are all varied, and like a lot of them have different attacks. Like they feel good to like see each one, and then you can go in the police station and look through all the ones you've encountered, and they're at least sort of interesting. I would even like them to be more interesting than those, but especially with the bosses. I want more interesting bosses, not just Sludge Sandy and Sludge Patrick.
Yeah. I reckon it could be cool to have mini bosses as well.
Yes.
Because we've got 7 worlds. I doubt we're going to have 7 main bosses. We'll probably have 3 or 4 main bosses. But it'd be cool for the end of each or section type of thing, for there to be a mini boss type of thing. I reckon that could be cool. And even if it's just like a bigger, more difficult version of other enemies we've seen, just having that type of thing. And this is going to piggyback off yours. This isn't one of my points. It was kind of an extra thing I wanted to do. But with more interesting enemies and bosses, I really like better combat. I reckon that is the thing that will separate Purple Lamp.
Yeah, that kind of goes into what I was saying before with the improved moveset. It kind of goes into the better combat, like something more interesting than just pressing a button and smacking them out of the way.
Yeah, I reckon that's the thing that could honestly take this game into a whole other level and separate it from its obvious, clear, like, what's inspired it. Like Mario Odyssey and Ratchet and Clank, that type of stuff. That's the thing that could move it into a whole other world and move it ahead, in my opinion, of the SpongeBob games of the past. It's no longer just, it looks visually better. The technicality is more interesting. Like, I mean, a light attack, a heavy attack, holding an ability to charge up an attack, that type of thing, using bubble abilities, all that type of stuff, and also using Patrick in a way. Like if Patrick could blow out bubbles that would get the enemies stuck in them, so you could be aiming with Patrick, shooting out these bubbles. If you might not play it, but a game called Nier Automata. You're in constant control of this little robot that's over your shoulder that shoots rockets and all this type of stuff while you're using your swords and that type of stuff on other enemies. It can be done quite well. So Patrick is shooting out these little bubbles to freeze some enemies while you're fighting others, so you can kind of attack enemies in stages.
You could stun them, and then, like you said, the charge attack. I was like, why have I never thought of that before? Like even just the attack from Battle for Bikini Bottom, where you spin the bubble wand around, like they could have easily added a way to like hold that and charge it up so that it has like a bigger attack radius when you swing it or something like that.
Yeah,
that is an interesting idea.
And that also could be done with the costumes. Like if you had specific costumes that allowed for those types of attacks and all that type of stuff. So then costumes have another layer of importance. So my one is levels that change. So I mean, in the idea of you're in an ice level and you fight a boss in a dormant volcano and you set it off in the process, and it turns the level into, after you finished the level, into a fire world.
Yeah, I just think of Mario Odyssey when I think about levels that can change.
Yeah, and there's the thing is that now you have whole new platforms in this area and whole new collectibles, and then that supports the whole side quest thing. Is now this level has rejuvenated in a way, and it's kind of, I know it leans almost more into that story type of idea that your actions actually affect things. That was sorely missing in the previous ones, because even when you defeat everything and defeat all the bosses, all those worlds still are like infested with robots type of thing. It's like you don't feel like you're actually impacting the world. Whereas if levels changed based on what you did, that would feel more fulfilling, I think.
Yeah, especially, like I was going to say, there's something to be said about not having that, but at the same time, it's like, I think we all kind of want this game to feel different in a lot of ways. I wanted to like retain some of what made Battle for Bikini Bottom that type of game, but it needs, like we said, it needs to evolve. So I think that would be a good way to do that, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And then your last one is quite similar as well.
Yeah, a more interesting environment. It was just kind of, especially like when we already kind of talked about the theme. Like I want the themes to really make the world. Like I don't want just another Jellyfish Fields where everything's green, which obviously it's not going to be because it's the Wild West, but I'm very interested. Like I don't just want the jungle level, the desert level, like I keep going back to the Halloween Rock Bottom one just because I think that one sounds so interesting to me for some reason. The only thing left for me to do is put my phone in my mouth. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. Don't try to stop me.
All right.
I'll light my hair on fire. I'm sorry.
That just
I
escalated.
just woke up, you guys.
Hey, that's my line for every video I'm in of someone else's. Like, man, it's 4 a.m. This is where we come to the most important part of the video. Guys, Who Needs Normal is like 40 subscribers off from 1,000 subscribers.
Yeah, that is true.
All right. I'm going to put in the end screen his video on Creature on the Krusty Krab, because it's my preferred SpongeBob game. The ones he's covered. Check it out. Smash that subscribe button.
Yes, please. More stuff's coming, I promise. I feel like a lot of people are like, you have literally, 4 videos? What the heck?
And add him to your favorites. Add him to your watch later list. Like the video. Send it to your grandma and say, Grandmama, hit that subscribe button, please. Make it happen.
And then comment, I sent this to my grandma.
Or he'll light his hair on fire. He's desperate, man. Do it.
I'll do it. I'll do it. Subscribe or I light my hair on fire.
Man, these SpongeBob YouTubers aren't what they used to be.
I'll do anything for a view.
Please. Please. Alright, bye.